Listen carefully, because what I am about to say is not ordinary encouragement and not a casual message to make you feel good for a moment. This is a divine interruption. This is a wake-up call to your spirit. Right now, at this very moment, God is standing at the threshold of your life, holding a key you have never held before, pointing to a door you have never walked through before, and saying, "This is your moment." Many will hear this message, but only a few will recognize that it is meant specifically for them. You are not here by accident. You did not stumble into this word by coincidence. God has been preparing a new chapter. And the greatest danger is not opposition, not delay, not hardship. The greatest danger is missing it because you did not recognize the timing. There are seasons when God works quietly, and there are seasons when God moves suddenly. This is a season of sudden shifts. What took years to build can change in a moment. What seemed impossible yesterday can open effortlessly today. But understand this clearly: when God opens a new chapter, it does not always feel comfortable at first. It often feels unfamiliar. It often requires you to release what once felt safe. God does not open new chapters to decorate old pages. God opens new chapters to move you forward. If you try to carry the past into the future unchanged, you will struggle in the very place designed to elevate you. Some of you have been faithful in a chapter that has already ended. You stayed loyal, you endured, you prayed, you waited, you suffered in silence, you obeyed when it was difficult, and now you wonder why things feel restless inside you. That restlessness is not confusion, it is not dissatisfaction, it is not failure, it is divine stirring. God is letting your spirit feel uncomfortable because comfort would keep you where you are, and where you are is no longer where you are supposed to stay. God never disturbs your peace without intention. When your spirit feels unsettled, it is often because God is calling you higher. Do not underestimate what God is doing simply because it does not look dramatic yet. God always works in the unseen before revealing things in the visible. The seed breaks underground long before the tree is admired above ground. The new chapter has already begun in the realm you cannot see. Align your thinking with that truth. When God decides to open a new chapter, the first thing God changes is not your surroundings, it is your perception. God adjusts how you see, how you think, how you respond. Because your next level requires a new mindset. If you try to enter a new chapter with an old way of thinking, you will misinterpret blessings as problems and opportunities as threats. There are doors that God opens that look small at first, but they lead to vast places. There are invitations that seem insignificant, but they carry destiny within them. Do not wait for everything to be perfect before you move. Perfection is not the signal. Obedience is. God rarely gives full clarity before movement. God gives direction, then confirmation follows your steps. If you demand certainty before action, you will remain stuck in preparation while others walk into fulfillment. Faith is not knowing every detail. Faith is trusting the one who holds the details. Many people miss divine chapters because they are emotionally attached to chapters God has already closed. You remember how it used to be. You remember the people who once walked with you. You remember the dreams that did not turn out the way you expected. But listen to this with clarity. God does not close chapters to punish you. God closes chapters to protect you and prepare you. What ended was not meant to destroy you. It was meant to refine you. It was meant to teach you. It was meant to strengthen your discernment. The pain you endured was not wasted. God does not waste tears. God collects them, transforms them, and uses them to water your future. This new chapter will require courage. Not loud courage, not dramatic courage, but quiet courage. The courage to trust God when no one else understands what you are doing. The courage to walk forward when familiar voices say, stay where you are. The courage to obey God even when obedience isolates you. God often separates before God elevates. If you feel misunderstood right now, if you feel alone in your convictions, if you feel like you no longer fit where you once belonged, that is not rejection. That is transition. Understand this deeply. Every new chapter begins with a decision. God opens the door, but you must walk through it. God provides the opportunity, but you must respond. God gives the instruction, but you must act. Divine openings are not automatic outcomes, they are invitations. Heaven responds to movement. When you step forward in faith, resources begin to align, connections begin to appear. Strength you did not know you had begins to rise. God meets you in motion. Some of you have been waiting for permission from people who cannot see what God has shown you. Release that need today. God did not call them to approve your assignment. God called you to obey. When God opens a new chapter, approval does not come first. Alignment does. Once you align with God's direction, the right confirmations will follow. Do not let fear of opinion delay divine progress. Fear keeps you small. Faith stretches you into who you were created to become. This new chapter will challenge your identity. You will be asked to see yourself differently. You will no longer be able to define yourself by your past struggles, your previous limitations, or other people's expectations. God is expanding your capacity. What once exhausted you will no longer drain you. What once intimidated you will no longer control you. You are stepping into a season where God strengthens your inner foundation so your outer life can expand without collapse. Do not romanticize the past. The past was preparation, not destination. Even the good moments were stepping stones, not final achievements. God always has more ahead than behind. When God opens a new chapter, it is because the current version of you has outgrown the current environment. Growth demands movement. Expansion demands change. If nothing changes, nothing grows. God is inviting you into growth that will stretch you, refine you, and reward you. There will be resistance. Not because you are wrong, but because you are moving. Resistance is evidence of progress. Doors that matter do not open without pressure. If everything feels effortless, examine whether you are truly moving forward or simply circling what feels familiar. God strengthens you through challenge, not avoidance. The new chapter will require discipline. It will require consistency. It will require humility. But it will also bring fulfillment you have never experienced before. Some blessings arrive disguised as responsibility. Some breakthroughs arrive wrapped in work. Do not reject what God sends simply because it demands more of you. Greater calling requires greater stewardship. God would not open this chapter if you were not capable of handling what comes with it. You are more prepared than you realize. You have more wisdom than you acknowledge. You have survived things that should have broken you. That survival was training. Right now, God is asking you a question deep within your spirit. Are you willing to let go so you can receive more? Holding on to what no longer fits will prevent you from grasping what is designed for you. Empty hands receive more easily. Release bitterness. Release regret. Release the need to control outcomes. Trust God's timing. Trust God's process. Trust God's wisdom even when it contradicts your comfort. This new chapter is not just about external change, it is about internal alignment. God is reshaping your priorities. Things that once mattered deeply will no longer dominate your thoughts. Things you once ignored will now carry weight. Your sensitivity to God's guidance is sharpening. Your discernment is increasing. Pay attention to what no longer resonates. That shift is intentional. Do not rush the process, but do not resist it either. God moves with precision. Delays refine character. Acceleration reveals readiness. Both are part of divine design. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be to step into what is next. Timing is not about speed. It is about alignment. When God opens a new chapter, provision follows purpose. Do not obsess over resources. Obsess over obedience. What you need will meet you along the way. God is not limited by what you see. God creates pathways where none appear to exist. What looks closed to others is often open to those who trust. This chapter will require you to speak differently. Speak with authority, not apology. Speak with faith, not fear. Speak life over yourself. Your words shape your perception, and your perception shapes your decisions. Align your language with God's direction. Do not declare defeat in a season of transition. Declare expectation. You are not starting over. You are starting deeper. You are not beginning from zero. You are beginning from experience. Everything you learned, everything you endured, everything you overcame is being carried forward with wisdom now. God never wastes seasons. Even the silent ones were shaping you. As this chapter opens, you will notice doors closing behind you. Let them close. Do not keep turning back. Looking back will slow you down. Nostalgia can become an anchor if you let it. Face forward. The best is not what was, it is what is coming. God's plans are progressive, not repetitive. This is not a season to shrink. This is not a season to hide. This is a season to step fully into who God has been preparing you to become. Your confidence will grow as your trust deepens. Your clarity will sharpen. As your obedience increases, you begin to see alignment where there was once confusion. Do not measure this chapter by speed. Measure it by depth. Rapid growth without roots collapses. God is establishing you firmly so that what comes next lasts. Patience here produces permanence later. You will not walk this chapter alone. God goes before you. God stands with you. God works within you. Even when you feel uncertain, divine guidance remains constant. Learn to listen. Learn to pause. Learn to trust inner conviction shaped by faith. This chapter will reveal who truly belongs in your life. Some relationships will strengthen. Others will fade naturally. Do not force connections that no longer align. God removes distractions to sharpen focus. Separation is not loss when it leads to clarity. You are entering a season where your obedience will impact others more than you realize. Your courage will inspire unseen observers. Your consistency will speak louder than explanations. Walk with integrity. Walk with humility. Walk with confidence in God's leading. When doubt whispers, remember how far you have come. When fear rises, remember who guides you. When uncertainty clouds your vision, return to stillness and listen. God does not shout confusion. God speaks clarity to those willing to listen. This chapter will stretch your faith, but it will also reward it. You will look back and realize that the moment you almost stayed was the moment you needed to move. You will understand that what felt like an ending was actually an invitation. Right now, decide internally that you will not miss this moment. Decide that you will not delay obedience. Decide that you will not sabotage growth by clinging to familiarity. God has opened the door. Step through it with trust, with courage, with humility, and with expectation, because this chapter carries purpose, alignment, refinement, and expansion prepared long before you arrived at this moment. And everything within you already knows that this is the season where obedience becomes movement. Movement becomes transformation, and transformation reveals what God has been preparing beyond what your eyes have seen, beyond what your mind has imagined, beyond what your past could ever contain. There's something else you must understand about this new chapter. God does not open it merely to improve your circumstances, but to mature your spirit. Comfort can exist without growth, but growth never happens without stretching. This is why God often allows uncertainty at the beginning of a new season. Uncertainty forces dependence, and dependence strengthens faith. When you no longer rely on your own understanding, you begin to rely fully on God's guidance. That reliance is not weakness, it is power correctly positioned. God is shifting how you interpret struggle. In the old chapter, struggle may have felt like resistance or punishment. In this new chapter, struggle becomes confirmation. It proves you are engaging with something that matters. Easy paths rarely lead to meaningful destinations. God values depth over convenience. What challenges you now is shaping the strength you will need later. Do not resent the wait. It is building capacity. This chapter will require silence at times, not because you have nothing to say, but because God is teaching you discernment. Not every thought needs to be spoken. Not every plan needs to be announced. Some things grow best in quiet obedience. When God is doing something new, protected from unnecessary exposure. Sacred beginnings need space to develop without interference. There will be moments when progress feels slow. Do not confuse slowness with stagnation. God works beneath the surface longer than we expect. But when movement becomes visible, it accelerates quickly. Trust the unseen process. Roots grow deeper than branches rise. What is being established now will support what is revealed later. This chapter will ask you to let go of comparison. You cannot measure your journey against someone else's timeline. God custom designs each path. Comparison distorts gratitude and weakens faith. Stay focused on your assignment. What God is doing in you does not need validation from someone else's results. You will notice that your tolerance for distraction decreases. This is intentional. God is refining your focus. What once pulled your attention easily will no longer satisfy you. That narrowing is not loss, it is clarity. Focus multiplies effectiveness. When your energy is aligned, your impact increases. God is also training you to respond instead of react. Reaction is emotional, response is intentional. In this new chapter, maturity matters more than impulse. You will be tested not by what happens to you, but by how you respond to it. Self-control becomes spiritual authority. Calm discernment becomes strength. This chapter may confront you with decisions that have no obvious right answer. In those moments, listen for peace, not pressure. God's direction carries calm even when it requires courage. Pressure rushes, peace steadies. Learn the difference. That awareness will protect you from moving prematurely or hesitating unnecessarily. God is also redefining success for you. It will no longer be measured only by visible achievement, but by alignment. You will value obedience over applause, integrity over attention, purpose over popularity. This internal shift prepares you for external influence that does not corrupt your values. As you walk into this chapter, expect refinement in how you trust. Faith will no longer be abstract, it will become practical. You will trust God in decisions, relationships, finances, timing, and identity. Faith will move from belief to behavior. That transition transforms character. There will be moments when you feel unqualified. That feeling is not a signal to retreat, it is a reminder to rely on God. Qualification does not precede calling, obedience does. God equips those who move, not those who wait for perfection. This chapter will also reveal hidden strength. Situations will arise that demand courage you did not know you possessed. When you rise to meet them, you will surprise yourself. That surprise is evidence of growth. You are becoming more than you were. You may need to forgive people who will never acknowledge the harm they cause. Forgiveness here is not agreement, it is release. Carrying resentment will weigh you down in a season that requires lightness. Let go, not for their sake, but for your freedom. God is teaching you to trust timing without understanding it. Some answers will come quickly, others will unfold gradually. Both are purposeful. Impatience creates shortcuts. Patience creates wisdom. Trust that delays are not denials and silence is not absence. This chapter invites you to live with intention, no longer drifting, no longer reacting to circumstances, but choosing deliberately how you live, think, and respond. Intentional living aligns daily actions with eternal purpose. You will notice an increased awareness of God's presence in ordinary moments. Guidance will come through subtle impressions, quiet clarity, and steady conviction. Learn to honor these moments. They are the language of divine leadership. As you move forward, remember that confidence does not mean absence of fear. It means refusal to be controlled by it. Fear may accompany you briefly, but it does not get to decide your direction. Trust overrules fear. God is not asking you to know everything, only to trust fully. Understanding will come later. Obedience comes now. This order matters. When you reverse it, progress stalls. This chapter will stretch your generosity of time, patience, kindness, and faith. Generosity aligns you with abundance. What you give willingly creates space for more to flow into your life. You are not meant to rush this chapter, but you are meant to walk it with conviction. Each step matters. Each decision builds momentum. Consistency will take you further than intensity ever could. There will be confirmation along the way. Unexpected encouragement, timely clarity, strength where you expected weakness. These are reminders that God is involved in every detail. When discouragement tries to surface, return to gratitude. Gratitude recalibrates perspective. It reminds you how far you have come and how much has already been provided. This chapter is forming leadership within you. Not necessarily leadership over others, but leadership over yourself. Self-leadership is foundational. When you master discipline, focus, and humility, influence follows naturally. Do not underestimate quiet faithfulness. Small acts of obedience accumulate into significant transformation. Consistency builds legacy. God is preparing you for responsibility that matches your growth. You will not receive what you are unprepared to manage. Preparation is happening now, even when it feels ordinary. This chapter is not about proving yourself. It is about trusting God. Release performance-driven faith. Embrace relationship-driven obedience. Trust deepens when striving ends. Your identity will stabilize. You will no longer be easily shaken by opinion or circumstance. Grounded identity creates resilience. As this chapter unfolds, you will realize that clarity increases with movement. Action sharpens understanding. Waiting endlessly for clarity delays progress. You are not late to this moment. You are right on time. Everything that happened before now was shaping readiness. There is a refining fire in this chapter, but it is not meant to consume you. It is meant to clarify you. God is burning away confusion, insecurity, and misplaced identity so that what remains is strong, focused, and unshakable. Refinement feels uncomfortable because it separates what is essential from what is excess. What you lose in this process is not needed for where you are going. What remains will carry you forward with strength and stability. God is also teaching you the difference between urgency and alignment. Urgency pushes you to act out of fear. Alignment moves you with confidence. When God leads, there is purpose without panic. Learn to recognize that rhythm. When you feel rushed, pause. When you feel steady, proceed. God's guidance does not confuse or overwhelm. It directs with clarity and intention. This chapter will test your patience with people who do not move at your pace. You will begin to see things others cannot yet see. Resist frustration. Vision develops at different speeds. Your responsibility is not to convince everyone, but to remain faithful to what God has shown you. Let your consistency speak where words cannot. You will also be confronted with choices that require integrity when no one is watching. This is where character is built. Private decisions shape public outcomes. God values who you are becoming more than what you are accomplishing. When integrity is intact, progress becomes sustainable. There will be moments when you must choose obedience over explanation. Not everyone needs to understand your decisions. Obedience often looks unreasonable before results appear. Trust that God sees what others cannot. When outcomes align, understanding will follow. This chapter is teaching you to manage energy, not just time. Where you invest emotional and mental energy determines growth. Guard your intent. Ion. Protect your focus. What you repeatedly give attention to will shape your direction. God is guiding you to invest wisely. You may feel called to simplify, to remove excess commitments, to quiet unnecessary noise. Simplicity sharpens purpose. When distractions fall away, clarity emerges. God often simplifies before expanding. This chapter will increase your discernment. You will sense when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to wait. Discernment is developed through stillness. Make space for quiet reflection. Insight grows in stillness. God is also teaching you endurance. Not dramatic endurance, but steady perseverance, showing up consistently even when motivation fluctuates. Faithfulness over time builds momentum that emotion cannot sustain. You will find that your confidence becomes quieter but stronger, no longer fueled by external affirmation, but anchored in internal assurance. This confidence does not need to announce itself. It is evident through calm decision-making and steady progress. This chapter will bring moments where you must trust God's character rather than your circumstances. When external conditions appear unstable, return to what you know about God's faithfulness. Truth stabilizes. When perception wavers, you will be asked to release control in areas where you previously held tightly. Control creates tension. Trust creates flow. Letting go does not mean disengaging. It means partnering with God rather than resisting divine direction. As this chapter unfolds, You will experience a deeper sense of responsibility, not pressure, but purpose. Purpose gives weight to decisions without burdening the spirit. You will choose differently because you see differently. You may encounter setbacks that feel discouraging at first. Do not interpret them as failure. Some setbacks redirect rather than delay. God adjusts paths to protect outcomes. Trust redirection, even when it disrupts plans. This chapter will deepen your humility. Growth without humility becomes unstable. Humility keeps you teachable. Teachable hearts remain adaptable, and adaptability ensures longevity. God is aligning you with opportunities that match your readiness, not just your desire. Desire initiates movement, readiness sustains it. Preparation ensures you can maintain what you receive. You will notice an increased awareness of consequences. Choices feel weightier because you are thinking beyond immediate outcomes. This awareness is maturity. Long-term thinking shapes lasting impact. This chapter encourages you to listen more than you speak. Observation reveals patterns. Patterns reveal wisdom. Wisdom strengthens decision-making. You will learn to trust progress even when results are not immediate. Some seeds take time to break through the surface. Remain consistent. Growth is occurring even when unseen. God is strengthening your resolve. Doubt will visit, but it will not stay. Fear will attempt to distract, but it will not lead. Resolve is built by repeated commitment to alignment. This chapter will stretch your compassion. You will understand others more deeply, even when you do not agree with them. Compassion does not compromise conviction. It strengthens character. You will feel an increasing desire for meaning over recognition. Meaning sustains fulfillment. Recognition fades quickly. Choose depth over display. As you continue forward, trust that clarity will increase with obedience. Insight follows movement. Waiting indefinitely for certainty delays growth. This chapter is teaching you to live with intentional restraint. Not everything deserves reaction. Discernment filters response. Maturity chooses wisely. God is forming resilience within you. Resilience allows you to remain steady under pressure. Stability becomes your strength. There is another dimension to this chapter that must be understood. God is recalibrating your sense of value. What you once chased for validation will no longer satisfy you. Approval, recognition, and external affirmation lose their power when identity becomes rooted in God's purpose. This shift frees you from striving and anchors you in stability. When your worth is no longer negotiable, your decisions become clearer and your peace becomes durable. God is also teaching you to recognize divine timing through restraint. Not every open door is meant to be entered immediately. Discernment is not hesitation, it is wisdom in motion. There are moments when waiting is obedience and moments when delay is disobedience. Sensitivity to timing grows through attentiveness, not anxiety. Trust the inner confirmation that comes without force. This chapter will reveal the strength of your inner life. External success cannot compensate for internal instability. God prioritizes inner alignment before outward expansion. When your inner life is anchored, external pressure loses its ability to destabilize you. This is how resilience is formed, quietly, consistently, intentionally. You will begin to notice that conflict affects you differently now. What once provoked reaction now invites reflection. This is growth. Emotional mastery is spiritual maturity. God is training you to respond from conviction rather than emotion. Calm authority speaks louder than reactive intensity. This chapter will require honesty with yourself. Not condemnation, not self-criticism, but clarity. Acknowledging limitations allows growth. Awareness is the gateway to transformation. God meets honesty with grace and direction. There will be times when progress feels invisible to others. That is acceptable. Visibility is not the measure of impact. Some of the most significant shifts happen quietly. God works deeply before working broadly. Depth precedes influence. God is also reshaping how you view sacrifice. Sacrifice in this chapter is not loss, it is investment. What you release creates room for what aligns. Sacrifice guided by faith always yields growth. Trust the exchange. You may feel a growing intolerance for superficiality. Conversations, habits, and commitments lacking substance will feel draining. This is refinement. God is sharpening your appetite for what nourishes purpose. Choose nourishment over noise. This chapter teaches you to trust consistency over excitement. Excitement fades, consistency endures. Steady faithfulness produces results that momentary passion cannot sustain. Show up even when it feels ordinary. Ordinary obedience compounds into extraordinary outcomes. You will also encounter moments of solitude. Solitude is not abandonment, it is preparation. In quiet moments, clarity deepens. God speaks most clearly when distractions fade. Learn to value stillness. This chapter invites you to take responsibility for your thoughts. Thought patterns shape perception. Perception shapes decisions. Align your thinking with truth. Replace assumptions with discernment. Replace fear-based thinking with trust-based confidence. God is expanding your emotional capacity. You will carry responsibility without being overwhelmed, expectation without pressure, and ambition without restlessness. Balance emerges when purpose guides effort. You may notice that your tolerance for compromise diminishes. Integrity becomes non-negotiable. This is alignment. Compromise erodes clarity. Integrity reinforces direction. Choose consistency even when it costs comfort. This chapter will challenge you to forgive yourself. Past mistakes may resurface in memory. Release them. Growth requires closure. Carrying regret into a new season restricts movement. Learn from. End the past, but do not live in it. God is teaching you to listen for wisdom rather than volume. Loud opinions will surround you. Wisdom often whispers. Train your attention to recognize substance over intensity. Not every loud voice carries truth. This chapter will also refine your patience with process. Outcomes take time. Formation is gradual. Trust incremental progress. Small steps forward accumulate into lasting change. You will begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. Perspective shifts reveal possibility. God reframes challenges into platforms for growth. Resistance becomes training. This chapter encourages stewardship of strength. Rest becomes intentional. Boundaries become necessary. Sustainability replaces overextension. God values longevity over burnout. You will find yourself less reactive to uncertainty. Uncertainty no longer threatens identity. It becomes space for faith to operate. Trust stabilizes when control is released. This chapter will deepen your discernment in relationships. Alignment matters more than proximity. Shared purpose strengthens connection. Distance without alignment drains energy. God is preparing you to influence through example rather than persuasion. Authenticity attracts, integrity convinces. Let your life communicate what words cannot. As you continue forward, expect refinement in how you define progress. Progress becomes alignment, not speed. Faithfulness, not visibility. Growth, not applause. This chapter will stretch you, steady you, and strengthen you simultaneously. Tension creates capacity. Capacity supports expansion. Expansion reveals purpose. Remain attentive to inner conviction. When peace accompanies courage, move. When restlessness accompanies urgency, pause. Discernment protects destiny. God is shaping endurance within you. The ability to remain committed when novelty fades. Endurance transforms calling into legacy. This chapter is unfolding with intention. Each decision matters. Each moment contributes. Nothing is wasted when guided by trust. Listen to me carefully, because this moment is not accidental. You did not click, you were not drawn here by chance, and you are not hearing these words because time is passing. You are here because your season has shifted. Something unseen has moved in the spiritual realm, and now it is pressing into your natural world. The delays you endured were not denials. The silence you survived was not abandonment. The waiting you hated was preparation. And now I speak this with divine authority and deep conviction. Your time has come, and you will have millions, because God does not prepare a person for nothing, and God does not awaken a vision without intending to fulfill it. For too long, you have lived with the quiet question in your heart, wondering when it would finally be your turn. You watched others rise while you stayed hidden. You watched doors open for others while yours stayed shut. You watched wealth pass through your hands but never remain. And yet, something inside you never died. That holy restlessness never left you. That inner knowing kept whispering that you were made for more, that you were born for impact, that your life was meant to overflow. That whisper was not pride. That whisper was not imagination. That whisper was God placing destiny inside you before the world ever saw you. Understand this truth deeply. God does not think in scarcity. God does not operate in limitation. God is not threatened by abundance. When God created the earth, He created excess before He created need. He created supply before He created demand. He filled the seas with life, the skies with movement, the land with resources. And when He formed you, He did not reduce His nature. He placed within you the capacity to multiply, to govern, to create, and to prosper. Poverty was never your design. Lack was never your destiny. Struggle was never your final chapter. But there is a process that must happen before promotion. There is a crushing before the oil flows. There is a stretching before expansion arrives. God first works on the inner structure before releasing outer success. That is why your character was tested. That is why your patience was stretched. That is why you endured seasons when nothing made sense. God was enlarging your capacity so that when millions come, they do not destroy you, but serve the purpose He placed upon your life. Many people want the harvest, but few endure the planting. Many desire wealth, but few allow God to reshape their thinking. You cannot carry millions with a small mindset. You cannot manage overflow with fear-based thinking. God had to break the old beliefs that told you you were not enough, that success was for others, that wealth was dangerous, that abundance would corrupt you. God was teaching you that money is not evil, that provision is not sin, that wealth in the hands of the righteous becomes a tool of impact. When God blesses you, it is never just for you. It is to bless families, communities, generations, and nations. Hear this clearly. Your delay was divine. God was protecting you from premature elevation. If He had released the millions earlier, you would have lacked the wisdom to steward them, the discipline to manage them, and the spiritual depth to remain grounded. But now you are different. Now your heart is aligned. Now your priorities are purified. Now you understand that wealth is not your source. God is. Money is not your security. God is. Success is not your identity. God is. And because you understand this, you are ready. There comes a moment when God looks at a person and says, now, not tomorrow, not someday, now. This is that moment for you. Your obedience has been weighed. Your faith has been tested. Your perseverance has been proven. And heaven responds to faith that refuses to quit. When God sees someone who trusts Him in obscurity, He can trust them with visibility. When God sees someone who honors Him in lack, He can entrust them with abundance. You must stop thinking small about your future. Small thoughts cannot contain big blessings. Every limitation you accepted in your mind became a ceiling in your life. But today, that ceiling is being lifted. God is expanding your vision. He is enlarging your expectations. He is calling you to think beyond survival and into significance. Millions are not coming to inflate your ego, but to fund your assignment. God is about to give you resources that will allow you to move freely, give generously, and live purposefully. The struggle you endured taught you discipline. The disappointments refined your discernment. The betrayals sharpened your wisdom. Nothing was wasted. Not a tear, not a setback, not a night of silent prayers. God was building a foundation that could support what is coming. And what is coming is not ordinary. It is not small. It is not fragile. It is strong, lasting, and multiplying. There are opportunities that will soon recognize you. There are connections that will suddenly align. There are ideas that will begin to produce faster than you imagine. But you must stay spiritually awake. Wealth does not come to the distracted. Increase does not follow the careless. God releases provision to those who remain faithful in the unseen moments. Continue to honor God with your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your decisions. Stay disciplined, stay humble, stay grateful. Gratitude multiplies what you already have. You are stepping into a season where favor will replace frustration. Doors will open without force. People will support you without manipulation. Systems will work in your favor. This is not luck. This is alignment. When your inner world aligns with God's will, your outer world begins to respond. You are no longer chasing success. Success is responding to you. You are no longer begging for opportunities. Opportunities are being drawn to the authority you carry. Understand that millions do not arrive all at once. They come through systems, ideas, consistency, and obedience. God gives the vision, but you must work it with excellence. You must respect what God places in your hands. Be faithful with the small assignments because they are rehearsals for greater responsibility. When God sees stewardship, He releases scale. When He sees integrity, He releases influence. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. Your obedience matters. There are people whose lives will be changed because you prospered. There are problems that will be solved because you had resources. There are doors that will open for others because God opened doors for you. This is not selfish ambition. This is divine assignment. Stop apologizing for your hunger to grow. Stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. God did not call you to blend in. He called you to stand out. You are not arrogant for expecting abundance. You are aligned. You are not greedy for believing in overflow. You are obedient. God delights in blessing those who trust Him fully. Your past does not disqualify you. Your mistakes did not cancel your calling. Your failures were lessons, not labels. God redeems time. He restores years. He accelerates progress. What took others decades will take you moments, because God knows how to compress seasons. When He decides to elevate, no human resistance can stop it. There will be critics. There will be doubters. There will be people uncomfortable with your growth. Let them talk. Their words cannot cancel God's promise. Stay focused, stay grounded, stay obedient. Your validation does not come from people. It comes from alignment with God's purpose. You are entering a season where your name will be mentioned in rooms you have never entered. Your work will speak before you arrive. Your value will be recognized without explanation. This is favor. This is acceleration. This is God moving ahead of you. But remember this always: never let wealth replace wisdom. Never let success replace surrender. Never let abundance replace humility. The higher you go, the deeper your roots must grow. Stay connected to God daily. Seek His direction. Honor His principles. Keep your heart clean. You will not only have millions, you will have peace. You will not only have resources, you will have clarity. You will not only have influence, you will have purpose. This is the fullness God intended for you. The season of barely enough is ending. The season of just surviving is closing. The season of breakthrough is opening. Your time has come. The vision is alive. The door is open. The provision is prepared. And you are stepping forward with faith, discipline, and divine confidence, knowing that God, who began this work in you, is now bringing it into manifestation, expanding your territory, enlarging your influence, increasing your capacity, and releasing abundance that flows through your life and touches generations. Because when God decides to elevate a person who remained faithful in the unseen, the result is not temporary success, but sustained overflow, multiplied impact, and a life that becomes a living testimony of divine provision and unstoppable favor. There is a sacred responsibility that comes when God decides to shift a person from waiting to receiving. Many pray for increase, but few prepare their soul for the weight of it. When abundance approaches, God first strengthens the inner walls of discipline, discernment, and obedience. That is why you have felt an unusual seriousness, ente, your spirit. That is why distractions that once satisfied you no longer hold your attention. God is refining your focus, because what is coming will require clarity. Millions demand structure. Overflow demands order. And God never releases what you cannot manage with wisdom. Do not underestimate the power of alignment. When your thoughts align with truth, when your habits align with discipline, when your decisions align with integrity, heaven responds. Wealth does not chase desperation, it responds to readiness. God releases provision where there is purpose, and He multiplies resources where there is responsibility. You are stepping into a phase where every action matters more, where every decision carries weight, where every choice either accelerates or delays momentum. This awareness is not pressure, it is privilege. It means God trusts you. There are unseen systems being rearranged on your behalf. People are being positioned. Circumstances are shifting. What felt like stagnation was actually stabilization. God was anchoring you so that when the current of increase comes, it does not sweep you away. Sudden wealth without spiritual grounding destroys many, but sustained abundance flows safely through those whose foundation is God. That is why your journey took the path it did. That is why shortcuts were blocked. That is why certain doors never opened. God was protecting you from premature success that would have cost you your peace. Understand this deeply. Money responds to value. God is increasing your value capacity. Your skills are sharpening. Your insight is deepening. Your discernment is maturing. You are not just becoming wealthier, you are becoming wiser. You are learning how to see opportunities others overlook. You are learning how to move with patience rather than panic. You are learning how to wait without doubt and act without fear. These are the qualities that sustain prosperity. There will be moments when the increase feels intimidating. You may question whether you are truly ready. That humility is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. Confidence rooted in God is quiet, steady, and immovable. It does not boast. It does not rush. It simply moves forward with assurance. You do not need to announce your future. Your results will speak louder than any declaration. God often releases wealth through problems that need solutions. Pay attention to what burdens your heart. Pay attention to what frustrates you in the world. That frustration is often the birthplace of purpose. Where others complain, you are called to create. Where others see obstacles, you are meant to see opportunity. God places vision inside those He intends to resource. Do not fear responsibility. Responsibility is the gateway to authority. When you prove faithful with influence, God increases impact. When you steward resources wisely, God multiplies them. This is a spiritual law. What you respect grows. What you manage multiplies. What you honor remains. Treat every assignment, every opportunity, every connection with integrity, because nothing is random in a season of elevation. There will be moments when silence becomes your strength. Not everyone needs access to your plans. Not everyone deserves insight into your process. God often does His greatest work quietly, away from noise and opinion. Protect your vision, guard your peace, stay anchored in God's guidance, not human approval. As abundance approaches, generosity must remain central. Giving keeps the flow open. A closed hand cannot receive. A generous spirit attracts increase. This is not about obligation, it is about alignment. When you become a channel rather than a container, God trusts you with more. The wealth coming to you will not stagnate. It will circulate, bringing life wherever it flows. You may notice that your tolerance for mediocrity is decreasing. Excellence is becoming your standard. This is not pride, it is preparation. Millions require systems of excellence. God is teaching you to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. Faithfulness in the unseen produces favor in the visible. Your journey will inspire others, even those who never supported you. Some will only understand your path after they see the outcome. Do not carry resentment. Release it. Bitterness blocks blessings. Forgiveness keeps your spirit light and receptive. God lifts those who let go. You are entering a season where timing matters. Delay can cost opportunity. Hesitation can slow momentum. Stay prayerful. Stay attentive. When God signals move, move. When He signals wait, wait. Discernment will be your greatest asset. Speed without direction leads to loss, but obedience with patience leads to multiplication. There is a difference between chasing wealth and attracting provision. You are no longer chasing. You are aligning. Your peace is your compass. When peace confirms a step, take it boldly. When peace withdraws, pause without fear. God's guidance is gentle but precise. Expect sudden clarity. Expect ideas that unlock doors. Expect conversations that change trajectories. Expect resources to come through unexpected channels. God delights in surprising those who trust Him fully. What you thought would take years may unfold swiftly. This is acceleration, not coincidence. Remain teachable. Growth requires humility. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you announce. Wisdom keeps wealth. Pride repels it. God resists arrogance but supports humility with favor and grace. Your identity must remain rooted in God, not results. Success is a tool, not a throne. When you remember this, abundance will not distort you. It will refine you. You will walk with confidence without losing compassion. You will lead with authority without losing empathy. The future opening before you is larger than personal comfort. It includes legacy. It includes generational impact. Decisions you make now will echo beyond your lifetime. This awareness brings purpose to discipline and meaning to restraint. There is also a deeper transformation happening that many do not see. God is not only changing what you have, He is changing how you see. Perception determines possession. As long as you see yourself as someone struggling to survive, you will subconsciously resist growth. But when God elevates your perception, you begin to move differently. You speak differently. You choose differently. You no longer negotiate with fear. You no longer shrink at opportunity. You step forward with quiet authority, not because you feel superior, but because you know you are guided. This is why your discernment has sharpened. You now sense when something is misaligned before it fully reveals itself. You recognize false urgency. You detect empty promises. God is training you to protect what He is about to entrust to you. Not every opportunity is a blessing. Not every open door leads to increase. Wisdom teaches you when to advance and when to decline. The ability to say no is as powerful as the ability to say yes. There will be moments when obedience requires courage. God may instruct you to move where logic hesitates, to invest where others withdraw, to trust where outcomes are unclear. Faith is not recklessness, it is confidence in divine direction. When God leads, provision follows. When He sends, He sustains. When He assigns, He supplies. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone, you are stepping into alignment. Do not be surprised if old cycles attempt to repeat themselves. Tests often return at higher levels, not to trap you, but to confirm growth. Where fear once seized, controlled you, faith will now steady you. Where doubt once delayed you, clarity will now propel you. This is how progress reveals itself. Not by the absence of challenge, but by the presence of maturity. You are learning to separate emotion from decision. Emotional reactions drain resources. Disciplined responses multiply them. God is teaching you restraint, not as limitation, but as power. The ability to wait, to observe, to respond with intention. This is leadership, and leadership attracts increase. Your relationship with time is changing. You no longer waste it, you honor it. Time is currency, focus is investment, consistency is compound growth. God blesses diligence because diligence reflects trust. When you work faithfully, you declare that you believe tomorrow will reward today's effort. There is also a call to responsibility beyond yourself. As God increases your influence, He also increases your accountability. Integrity becomes non-negotiable. Transparency becomes essential. What you tolerate privately eventually affects you publicly. Guard your character fiercely. Wealth magnifies what already exists within a person. Let it magnify wisdom, generosity, and humility. You may feel a growing desire to simplify certain areas of your life. This is divine pruning. God removes excess so that energy flows where it matters most. Not everything needs your attention. Not everyone needs your access. Focus preserves strength. Simplicity preserves clarity. Expect moments of acceleration that feel almost unreal. Progress will come in waves. What once moved slowly will suddenly gain momentum. Do not panic when speed increases. Stay grounded, stay disciplined. Acceleration without stability leads to loss, but acceleration guided by God leads to expansion. Your confidence will no longer depend on outcomes. It will rest in obedience. When you know you are aligned, results cannot shake you. This is unshakable confidence. It does not rise with praise or fall with criticism. It remains steady because it is anchored. You are stepping into a phase where your words carry weight. Speak with intention, speak with wisdom, speak with restraint. Life responds to what is declared with conviction and alignment. Guard your speech. Let your words reflect the future you are building, not the past you escaped. There will be moments when solitude becomes necessary. Growth requires quiet seasons. In stillness, clarity emerges. In silence, direction sharpens. God often speaks most clearly when noise is removed. Do not fear these moments. They are not isolation, they are preparation. You will begin to recognize that true wealth is not frantic. It is calm, it is ordered, it is intentional. Chaos is not a sign of expansion, clarity is. God brings peace with increase. If peace leaves, reassess alignment. Your generosity will become more strategic. You will give with wisdom, not impulse. You will bless in ways that build, not enable. This discernment ensures that your resources create lasting impact. God trusts those who give thoughtfully. As influence grows, temptation also increases. Stay alert. Pride whispers subtly. Comparison distracts quietly. Stay rooted. Gratitude protects the heart. Remember where you came from, not with shame, but with appreciation. Gratitude keeps you grounded and receptive. You are not becoming wealthy to escape life. You are becoming resource to engage it fully, to solve problems, to create opportunities, to bring stability where there is uncertainty. This is purpose-driven abundance. Your story will become evidence, not for boasting, but for encouragement. Others will see what alignment produces. They will see that faith combined with discipline creates results. Your life will speak without explanation. Stay faithful in process. Stay obedient in motion. Stay humble in success. God elevates those who remain teachable. The higher you go, the more you rely on guidance rather than impulse. This season requires courage, patience, and consistency. You are equipped for all three. God does not call without capacity. What He demands, He empowers. What He promises, He fulfills. You are walking into a reality where provision meets purpose, where resources match responsibility, where abundance reflects alignment. This is not sudden luck. This is sustained favor. And as you continue forward, grounded in wisdom, guided by faith, and anchored in obedience, the increase unfolding before you will not only transform your life, but establish a legacy of impact, stability, and provision that reflects the faithfulness of God working through a person who trusted Him fully and walked forward without retreat. There is a sacred law you are now learning to live by. Increase follows order. Disorder repels growth. Confusion drains momentum. That is why God has been pressing you to bring structure into areas you once neglected. Finances, routines, commitments, relationships. Nothing is exempt from refinement when elevation approaches. God is not punishing you by demanding order. He is protecting you from loss. When systems are aligned, abundance has somewhere safe to land. You are also being taught the discipline of restraint in success. Many fail not in lack, but in overflow. When recognition comes, when money begins to flow, when options multiply, restraint becomes wisdom in action. You do not need to touch everything available to you. Discernment teaches you that access does not mean assignment. God leads selectively, not impulsively. Every move must serve purpose. Notice how your appetite is changing. What once excited you now feels empty. What once felt urgent now feels unnecessary. This is maturity. Go. D is rewiring your desires so that you are not led by impulse, but by intention. When desire is purified, direction becomes clear. When direction is clear, progress accelerates. There will be seasons when your obedience is misunderstood. People may question your decisions because they cannot see what you see. Do not explain what God has not instructed you to explain. Silence is often a shield. Let outcomes speak. God vindicates obedience in time. You are learning the difference between pressure and purpose. Pressure rushes, purpose guides. Pressure demands instant results. Purpose builds lasting fruit. When God is leading, there is urgency without anxiety, movement without chaos, growth without compromise. Learn to recognize this rhythm and stay within it. There's also a call to mastery. God honors excellence because excellence reflects respect. Whatever He places in your hands, manage it with precision. Refine your skills, sharpen your mind, strengthen your discipline. Preparation is an act of faith. When you prepare diligently, you declare that you expect increase. Do not fear scale. God never expands a person without expanding their capacity first. The challenges you face now are training you for larger responsibilities. What feels heavy now will feel light later because strength grows through resistance. You are becoming capable, not overwhelmed. Your emotional stability is also being strengthened. Emotional maturity preserves wealth. Reactivity destroys opportunity. God is teaching you to respond, not react, to pause, not panic, to observe, not assume. This composure will protect you when pressure increases. You are entering a phase where discernment in relationships is critical. Not everyone who celebrates you can steward access to you. Proximity matters. Energy transfers. Choose environments that reinforce discipline, integrity, and growth. Distance from house is not arrogance, it is wisdom. God is also aligning you with timing. There is a time to sow and a time to reap. There is a time to push and a time to preserve. You are becoming sensitive to seasons. This sensitivity prevents waste and maximizes return. Expect your confidence to deepen without becoming loud. Quiet confidence is powerful. It does not need approval. It does not seek validation. It stands firm because it is rooted in alignment, not opinion. You will notice that fear no longer has authority over your decisions. It may attempt to speak, but it no longer leads. Faith now informs your actions. Courage is no longer forced, it is natural. This is evidence of growth. God is also shaping your leadership. Leadership is not control, it is responsibility. It is service with authority. As your influence grows, remember that leadership requires listening, humility, and accountability. Those who lead well are trusted with more. There will be moments when patience is tested again, even after progress begins. Do not interpret delay as denial. Sometimes God slows momentum to protect quality. Rushed growth can collapse under its own weight. Trust divine pacing. You are being prepared to handle visibility. Visibility amplifies everything, strengths and weaknesses. That is why God insists on inner work. Integrity is protection in public success. What is hidden eventually surfaces. Keep your inner world clean. Your generosity will open doors you cannot open with strategy alone. Giving aligns you with the flow of provision. It keeps your heart free from attachment and your hands open to receive. God increases those who give with wisdom and joy. You are no longer defined by what you lack. You are defined by what you steward. Stewardship attracts trust. Trust attracts opportunity. Opportunity attracts increase. This sequence is divine and reliable as your world expands. Remember to remain teachable. Wisdom grows through humility. The moment you stop learning, growth stops. Stay curious. Stay grounded. Stay open to correction. There is a deep peace available to you now, a peace that does not depend on circumstances. This peace will guide your decisions more accurately than emotion ever could. Protect it. You are moving from survival thinking to legacy thinking. Decisions now carry long-term impact. This awareness refines your choices. You are building something that will outlast seasons and trends. God is faithful in completion. What He initiated in you, He continues to develop. You are not walking alone. Guidance is present. Provision is active. Purpose is unfolding. There is a refining of trust taking place that goes beyond belief and enters reliance. Belief says God can do it. Reliance says God is doing it even when evidence has not yet appeared. This level of trust changes how you move through uncertainty. You no longer beg for reassurance. You walk with assurance. You do not require constant signs because your alignment has become your confirmation. God trains His people to recognize direction through peace, not panic, through conviction, not noise. You are learning to govern your inner dialogue. What you allow yourself to rehearse privately determines what manifests publicly. Fearful thoughts weaken resolve. Disciplined thoughts strengthen outcomes. God is teaching you to speak to yourself with truth, not emotion. When doubt tries to rise, you counter it with remembrance of how far you have already come. Memory becomes a weapon against discouragement. Gratitude becomes fuel for endurance. There is also a strengthening of patience that is strategic, not passive. This patience does not sit idle, it prepares actively. While others rush ahead without foundation, you are being trained to build beneath the surface, strong. Roots support tall growth. God prefers depth before height. When elevation comes, it will not wobble, it will stand. You are becoming skilled at recognizing the difference between opportunity and distraction. Distraction promises quick reward but drains long-term vision. Opportunity aligns with purpose and produces lasting fruit. God sharpens your ability to weigh outcomes, to assess costs, to choose what serves the future rather than what satisfies the moment. Notice how your emotional reactions are losing their dominance. You are no longer ruled by impulse. You are ruled by principle. This shift is critical. Emotional leadership creates instability. Principle-based leadership creates trust. Trust attracts partnership. Partnership multiplies capacity. This is how God builds sustainable increase. You are also being invited into deeper stewardship of influence. Influence is not measured by how many notice you, but by how many are strengthened through you. God expands influence for service, not display. When your focus remains on contribution rather than comparison, growth becomes natural. Comparison weakens purpose. Contribution strengthens destiny. Expect moments when clarity arrives suddenly, like light breaking through fog. Ideas will organize themselves. Plans will align. What once felt scattered will feel ordered. This is not coincidence, it is coherence. God brings coherence to those who remain faithful in process. When inner clarity forms, outer movement accelerates. There will be times when you must choose integrity over convenience. These choices may cost you in the short term, but will protect you in the long term. Integrity compounds. It builds a reputation that opens doors no strategy can force. God honors those who refuse to compromise under pressure. You are also learning how to rest without guilt. Rest is not laziness. It is restoration. God designed rhythms so that strength renews and perspective sharpens. When you honor rest, you honor sustainability. Burnout is not a badge of faithfulness. Balance is your awareness of consequence is deepening. You understand that every action plants a seed. Every word carries weight. Every habit builds momentum. This awareness does not create fear, it creates intentionality. You are no longer careless with energy, time, or focus. Precision becomes your ally. The path ahead will not always be easy, but it will be purposeful. Resistance will refine you. Challenges will mature you. Victory will stabilize you. Through it all, guidance remains constant. Stay aligned, stay attentive, stay disciplined. The unfolding before you is precise, intentional, and sustained. God is shaping a life that can carry abundance without distortion, influence without corruption, and success without loss of soul, continuing to enlarge your capacity, refine your vision, and deepen your trust as provision unfolds in a way that reflects wisdom, purpose, and enduring faithfulness. Listen to me carefully. What if I told you that at this very moment, while you are listening to these words, God is standing before a door that has your name written on it. A door of provision, a door of increase, a door of wealth that has been sealed not because you are unworthy, but because the appointed time had not yet come. And now that time has arrived. Many people live their entire lives begging for crumbs when God has prepared abundance. But abundance requires alignment, and alignment begins with awareness. If you miss this moment, you will not miss it because God failed. You will miss it because you did not recognize that the door was already opening. God does not open doors randomly. God is intentional. God is precise. God is strategic. When God opens a wealth door, it is not merely to give you money. It is to transform your mindset, reposition your authority, and shift your generational story. Wealth is not just currency, it is capacity. It is the ability to solve problems, to lift burdens, to expand influence, and to fulfill assignments that cannot be completed with empty hands. When God opens a door of wealth, He is saying, I trust you with more. But trust is never given without preparation. That is why some of you had to endure seasons of lack, misunderstanding, delay, and pressure, not because God wanted you to suffer, but because He was strengthening your character so the wealth would not destroy you when it arrived. Many people want the blessing, but they are not prepared for the responsibility that comes with it. Wealth reveals who you really are. If your heart is unstable, wealth will amplify that instability. If your vision is unclear, wealth will scatter you in 1,000 directions. God does not release increase into chaos. God releases increase into order. That is why today is not just about expectation, it is about alignment. If you want to walk through the wealth door God is opening, your mind must be ready to receive it, your hands must be clean enough to hold it, and your spirit must be disciplined enough to manage it. There are people listening to this who have prayed for wealth for years, but deep inside, they still believe poverty is humility and struggle is holiness. That belief is not from God. God is not glorified by your constant lack. God is glorified when your life becomes evidence that obedience produces fruit. God is glorified when your provision becomes a testimony that silences doubt. God is glorified when your increase becomes a channel of impact. Scarcity does not make you righteous, obedience does. Wealth does not make you corrupt, disobedience does. The door God is opening is not a trap, it is a trust. Understand this clearly: when God opens a door, opposition increases. Resistance intensifies because unseen forces recognize that once you step through that door, your life will never return to the old level. That is why distractions suddenly appear. That is why fear tries to speak louder. That is why doubt begins to question your worthiness. But those voices are proof that the door is real. No one fights an imaginary breakthrough. No one resists a false promotion. If you feel pressure, it is because you are close. If you feel stretching, it is because expansion is happening. If you feel uncomfortable, it is because God is moving you out of survival mode into stewardship mode. God is not opening this door because you are perfect. God is opening this door because you are willing to learn, willing to obey, willing to grow, willing to change. Wealth requires wisdom, and wisdom begins with humility. Those who think they already know everything cannot receive instruction. Those who refuse correction cannot manage increase. God is looking for people who will not just shout when the door opens, but will walk carefully when they step inside. Celebration without discipline leads to collapse. Gratitude without governance leads to waste. God wants to bless you, but He also wants to keep you blessed. Some of you have been confused because the door is opening quietly. You expected noise, you expected fireworks, you expected dramatic signs, but God often opens wealth doors through ideas, through connections, through opportunities that look ordinary at first. An idea that keeps returning to your mind is not random. A skill you have ignored is not insignificant. A conversation that keeps resurfacing is not accidental. God does not always send money. Sometimes God sends insight that produces money. God does not always drop provision. Sometimes God releases instruction that leads to provision. If you are waiting for wealth to fall from the sky, you may miss the door that is opening in your mind. Wealth doors open to those who are attentive. Pay attention to what excites you without exhausting you. Pay attention to what solves problems for others. Pay attention to what flows naturally when you stop doubting yourself. God hides wealth in solutions. God hides increase in value. When you become valuable, provision follows you. Chasing money will exhaust you, but pursuing purpose will attract provision. God does not bless laziness. God blesses diligence. God does not reward entitlement. God rewards stewardship. If you treat small things carelessly, you will mishandle big things. If you are faithful in little, your capacity expands for more. There is a reason God waited until now. You needed to unlearn certain habits, You needed to outgrow certain relationships. You needed to break certain cycles. Some of you had to be separated from people who would have drained your increase before you even enjoyed it. Some of you had to be misunderstood so you would stop depending on approval. Some of you had to be alone so your vision would become clear. Isolation was not punishment, it was preparation. Silence was not rejection, it was refinement. Delay was not denial, it was development. God knows the weight of what He is about to release. Wealth is heavy. It demands structure, it demands accountability, it demands maturity. That is why God trained you through pressure. Pressure reveals strength. Pressure builds endurance. Pressure forces you to think differently. If you survived seasons where you had nothing but still showed integrity, still showed generosity, still showed faith, then you are being qualified for seasons where you will have more. God tests hearts before He fills hands. Do not miss this door by thinking too small. Some of you are asking God for survival when God is offering expansion. You are praying to pay bills while God is calling you to build systems. You are asking for relief while God is preparing you for responsibility. Wealth is not just about comfort, it is about capacity. When God increases you, it is so you can carry more, handle more, influence more. If your vision is only about yourself, the door will remain narrow. If your vision includes impact, the door widens. Fear is the greatest enemy of wealth doors. Fear convinces you to stay where you are because it feels familiar. Fear tells why. Oh, not to take risks, not to invest, not to step forward. But growth always requires movement. God does not bless stagnation. God blesses motion aligned with wisdom. Courage does not mean recklessness. Courage means obedience despite uncertainty. You do not need to see the entire path. You only need to trust the next step. The door opens when you move, not when you wait endlessly for certainty. Some of you are standing before the door, but still holding on to old mindsets. You cannot carry poverty thinking into prosperity territory. You cannot expect abundance while constantly speaking lack. Words shape reality. What you speak consistently, you empower subconsciously. If you keep saying you will never have enough, your mind will sabotage opportunities to prove yourself right. Align your language with what God is releasing. Speak expectation, speak discipline, speak wisdom, speak increase, not as arrogance, but as agreement with what God is doing. God is opening this door because the world needs what you carry. There are problems only you can solve. There are ideas only you can execute. There are people who will be impacted because you said yes. Wealth is a tool. Like any tool, it depends on who holds it. In the wrong hands, it destroys. In the right hands, it builds. God is not careless with tools. God places them intentionally. That is why integrity matters more than ambition. Ambition without integrity leads to collapse. Integrity with vision leads to legacy. Do not underestimate the season you are in. What looks like ordinary effort is actually extraordinary alignment. Showing up consistently, learning daily, improving quietly, managing wisely. These are the keys that unlock wealth doors. Breakthrough is rarely dramatic. It is often the result of sustained discipline over time. People celebrate the moment of arrival, but they ignore the years of preparation that add arrival possible. God sees what no one applauds. God rewards what others overlook. If you are waiting for permission to believe that wealth is part of your destiny, let this be your confirmation. God is not threatened by your success. God is not intimidated by your influence. God is not limited by your background. Your past does not disqualify you. Your mistakes do not cancel your future. What matters is your willingness to align now. The door does not open to who you were, it opens to who you are becoming. Some of you need to release guilt. Guilt will keep you poor even when opportunities surround you. Guilt convinces you that you do not deserve good things, but worthiness is not earned through perfection. It is granted through alignment. If God is opening the door, it means He has already accounted for your flaws. Stop punishing yourself for what God has already forgiven. Wealth flows where acceptance exists. Self-rejection blocks reception. Be careful not to miss the door by being offended by the process. Sometimes God uses people you do not expect. Sometimes the opportunity comes wrapped in inconvenience. Sometimes the instruction challenges your pride. But obedience is not about comfort, it is about trust. Trust that God sees what you cannot see. Trust that God knows the timing. Trust that God is not late. When the door opens, hesitation can be as dangerous as disobedience. This is a season of discernment. Not every open door is from God, but when God opens a door, there is peace even in uncertainty. There is clarity even in complexity. There is strength even in stretching. Learn to recognize the difference between pressure that drains you and pressure that develops you. One exhausts, the other expands. The door God opens will challenge you, but it will not compromise you. Wealth requires systems. Emotion cannot manage increase. Discipline must take the lead. Budgeting is not lack-minded, it is wisdom. Planning is not fear-based, it is stewardship. Learning is not insecurity, it is humility. If you want to keep what God releases, you must be willing to manage it with excellence. Sloppiness leaks resources. Excellence attracts expansion. God is opening this door not just for you, but through you. Your obedience will unlock provision for others. Your courage will inspire courage. Your discipline will model wisdom. Wealth that is hoarded becomes stagnant. Wealth that flows remains fresh. God is not interested in creating reservoirs that never release. God is interested in channels that distribute. When you understand this, wealth stops being a burden and starts being a joy. Do not rush the process, but do not resist the movement. Timing matters. Acting too early creates loss. Acting too late creates regret. Stay attentive, stay prayerful, stay disciplined. The door is opening, but you must walk through it intentionally. No one can carry you through. You must choose to step forward. Some of you will experience sudden shifts, unexpected opportunities, favor that seems disproportionate to your effort. That is not luck, that is alignment meeting timing. Others will experience gradual increase, steady growth, layer upon layer of progress. That is also God. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Comparison blinds gratitude and creates frustration. Focus on your assignment. Focus on your lane. Focus on your obedience. The wealth door God opens does not erase challenges. It changes their nature. Problems do not disappear. They evolve. But with increase comes capacity. What once overwhelmed you will become manageable. What once intimidated you will become familiar. Growth stretches you before it strengthens you. Do not retreat during the stretch. Remember this. Missing the door does not always look like rejection. So, many times it looks like distraction. Sometimes it looks like procrastination. Sometimes it looks like comfort. Comfort can be more dangerous than struggle because it numbs urgency. Stay alert, stay hungry, stay teachable. God is not asking you to chase wealth. God is asking you to walk in wisdom. When wisdom leads, provision follows. When obedience leads, increased response. When humility leads, favor activates. The door is opening because you are ready to lead yourself differently. If you feel a stirring inside you, that is not emotion, it is recognition. Something in you knows this message is not accidental. You are meant to hear this now. Timing is aligning. Awareness is awakening. Responsibility is increasing. The door is opening. And hesitation will not stop it. But hesitation can stop you from entering fully. Choose alignment over fear. Choose discipline over impulse. Choose vision over comfort. Choose obedience over excuses. The wealth door God is opening is not for spectators. It is for participants. It is for those who are willing to step forward even when the floor feels unfamiliar. To trust even when the path is not fully visible. To act even when the outcome is not guaranteed. God does not waste opportunities. God does not miscalculate timing. God does not open doors to tease you. If the door is opening, it is because provision has been prepared, capacity has been measured, and purpose has been assigned. Step forward with reverence. Step forward with courage. Step forward with wisdom. What you do next matters more than what you have done before. The past has trained you. The future will test you. Do not shrink now. Do not doubt now. Do not delay now. The door is opening, and those who recognize it will move differently, think differently, speak differently, and live differently. Because when God opens a wealth door, it is not just your finances that change. It is your identity, your authority, your responsibility, and your impact. And those who understand this moment will not look back. They will not second guess. They will not retreat into old patterns. Because they know that what lies ahead requires focus, courage, and obedience. And the door is already moving. The hinges are already shifting. The space is already being created, and your decision to step forward now will determine how fully you experience what God has prepared for you in this season of increase and alignment and responsibility and purpose, where hesitation no longer serves you and fear no longer defines you, and obedience becomes the language you live by as the door continues to open wider and wider and wider. There is another level to this moment that many people overlook, and it is this. When God opens a wealth door, He is not only changing your external circumstances, He is confronting your internal agreements. Every person lives by silent agreements, agreements formed by upbringing, culture, past failures, and unhealed disappointments. Some of you agreed long ago that money is dangerous, that wealth changes people, that success brings trouble. Those agreements have quietly governed your decisions, limited your courage, and filtered your expectations. Now God is calling you to break those agreements. You cannot walk into a new door while honoring old limitations. Renewal begins when you dare to believe that God's intentions toward you are good, purposeful, and expansive. God's provision is never detached from responsibility. When God increases you, He expects you to increase in wisdom, restraint, and foresight. Wealth without self-control becomes a master instead of a servant. That is why God often waits until you can say no to yourself before He gives you more to manage. Discipline is not restriction, it is protection. Every boundary you honor toward, it becomes a safeguard for tomorrow's increase. If you learn to govern your appetite now, your spending, your time, your emotions, you will not be governed by them when abundance arrives. Some of you have been frustrated because the door did not open the way you imagined. You expected a sudden transfer, an instant breakthrough, a dramatic shift. Instead, God has been opening your door through training, through learning, through exposure, through stretching assignments that felt beneath you or beyond you. But preparation is never beneath purpose. God does not elevate ignorance. God does not promote carelessness. God builds capacity layer by layer. If you despise the season of learning, you will mishandle the season of earning. Wealth doors often open first in the realm of responsibility before they open in the realm of resources. God watches how you manage access before He increases supply, how you handle information, how you treat opportunities, how you steward trust. If you misuse access, you disqualify yourself from increase. That is why integrity is not optional. It is foundational. Integrity keeps doors open longer than talent ever could. Skill may open a door, but character decides how long you stay inside. There is also a warning in this moment. When God opens a wealth door, counterfeit doors appear. Opportunities that promise quick gain without accountability. Shortcuts that compromise principles. Paths that bypass process. These doors are seductive because they appeal to impatience. But anything that pulls you away from wisdom will eventually pull you away from peace. God's door may require patience, but it never requires compromise. If an opportunity demands that you abandon integrity, it is not a blessing, it is a burden disguised as breakthrough. Do not confuse speed with favor. Some things grow fast and collapse just as quickly. God is not interested in you yielding something flashy that cannot last. God builds with endurance in mind. Sustainability is proof of wisdom. Longevity is evidence of alignment. When God opens your wealth door, it will be able to withstand pressure, scrutiny, and time. What God establishes does not need constant rescue. It stands because it is rooted in order. Another truth you must understand is this: wealth amplifies leadership. Whether you see yourself as a leader or not, increase will place influence in your hands. Influence demands accountability. People will watch how you move, how you speak, how you decide. Your example will teach even when you are silent. That is why humility must grow with success. Arrogance isolates, but humility attracts counsel, and counsel preserves wealth. Those who refuse advice eventually repeat mistakes. Those who welcome instruction refine their path. God also opens wealth doors to heal broken narratives. Some of you come from histories of struggle, cycles of debt, generational limitation. When God increases you, it is not just for comfort, it is to rewrite what seemed permanent. But breaking cycles requires intention. If you carry the same financial habits, the same emotional spending patterns, the same avoidance of responsibility, the cycle will continue despite new income. Transformation requires new thinking. You must learn to see money as a tool, not as a reward or an escape. Be careful not to attach your identity to wealth. Wealth is what you manage, not who you are. When identity becomes tied to possessions, fear multiplies. Fear of loss, fear of comparison, fear of failure. But when your identity is rooted in obedience, wealth becomes neutral. It can come and go without controlling you. God wants you to have wealth, but He never wants wealth to have you. Freedom is the goal, not accumulation. Some of you will need to unlearn urgency. Urgency often masks, erased as faith, but true faith is patient and precise. Rushing decisions because you fear missing out often leads to regret. God's timing does not panic. When the door is truly open, you do not have to force it. You will feel clarity, not chaos. Direction, not confusion. Peace, not anxiety. Learn to recognize the difference between pressure from fear and momentum from alignment. God is also testing your consistency. Many people can handle sudden increase, but cannot sustain daily discipline. Wealth is protected by routines. Saving regularly, giving thoughtfully, investing wisely, reviewing honestly. These habits may feel boring, but they are powerful. Consistency outperforms intensity every time. God often blesses the steady, not the flashy, the ones who show up when no one is watching, the ones who manage quietly, the ones who do not need applause to stay faithful. This season will require courage to say no. No to distractions that drain focus. No to relationships that exploit generosity. No to lifestyles that outpace wisdom. Saying no does not make you selfish, it makes you strategic. Every yes costs something. Time, energy, money, attention. You must decide what deserves your yes. God gives increase to those who value clarity. There will be moments when you feel undeserving again, when old insecurities resurface, when success feels unfamiliar. In those moments, remember this: God does not call the qualified, God qualifies the willing. Your role is not to argue with the door, but to walk through it responsibly. Self-doubt does not equal humility. Sometimes it is hidden pride, assuming you know better than God what you deserve. Trust the one who opened the door. As wealth increases, your inner life must deepen. Without grounding, success becomes noisy and hollow. Guard your inner quiet. Reflection sharpens judgment. Gratitude stabilizes ambition. Contentment keep desire from becoming greed. Godly wealth is calm. It does not need to boast. It does not need to prove. It simply functions with purpose. Understand that generosity is not a loss. It is alignment. Giving trains your heart to release control. It reminds you that provision flows through you, not from you. Generosity breaks fear. Stinginess strengthens it. When you give wisely, you declare that you trust God as your source, not your accumulation. That posture keeps the door open. Do not romanticize struggle now that the door is opening. Some people sabotage progress because struggle became familiar. They return to chaos because peace feels foreign. But you were not created to survive forever. You were created to steward. Allow your life to stabilize. Allow order to replace stress. Allow planning to replace panic. This is not betrayal of faith, it is fruit of faith. God is watching how you speak about wealth even now. Do you speak with resentment toward those who have more? That resentment will block your flow. Blessing resists bitterness. Honor opens access. When you celebrate others sincerely, you prepare yourself for your own season. What you criticize, you repel. What you respect, you attract. As the door opens wider, your decisions will carry more weight. Small mistakes will cost more. That is why wisdom must grow faster than income. Learn before you earn more. Ask before you act. Reflect before you expand. Wealth is easier to gain than to keep. Preservation requires foresight. There will be moments when God asks you to wait even after the door opens. Waiting does not mean denial, it means calibration. Some rooms require silence before speech. Some opportunities require observation before action. Impatience can turn blessing into burden. Trust the pacing of God. You are stepping into a season where excuses will no longer serve you. Responsibility replaces exploit. Nation ownership replaces blame. This is maturity. This is leadership. This is preparation for lasting influence. God is not just increasing what you have. He is increasing who you are becoming. Stay grounded. Stay alert. Stay obedient. The door is opening and it will require a new version of you to walk through it fully. Not louder, wiser, not flashier, steadier, not rushed, rooted. God is not in a hurry, but God is intentional, and this moment is intentional. What lies ahead will demand courage, clarity, and consistency. But you are not stepping into this alone. The same God who opened the door will guide you within it. Walk forward with reverence. Walk forward with discipline. Walk forward with trust. The season of preparation is giving way to a season of stewardship, and those who recognize the weight of this moment will move with wisdom, because they know that when God opens a wealth door, it is not simply an invitation to receive, but a calling to manage, to build, to influence, and to honor the trust that has been placed in their hands as the door continues to open and the responsibility continues to expand and the alignment becomes undeniable and the journey ahead unfolds step by step under the watchful guidance of God alone. This is the moment where everything you have heard must become something you live. Knowledge without application becomes weight instead of wisdom. Revelation without response becomes noise instead of power. God is not merely informing you, God is positioning you. The door opening before you is demanding a decision. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Neutrality is not humility, it is hesitation. And hesitation in a moment of divine movement is the quiet way opportunities pass unnoticed. You are being invited to rise to the level of trust God is extending to you. Understand this deeply. God's doors do not open endlessly. Timing is sacred. Moments have windows. When God signals movement, delay is not caution, it is resistance disguised as prudence. Many people miss their season not because they are rebellious, but because they are overly cautious. They wait for perfect conditions, complete clarity, total confidence. But perfect conditions do not exist at the threshold of growth. Faith is not the absence of uncertainty, it is obedience in the presence of it. When God opens a door, clarity follows movement, not the other way around. You are not being asked to leap blindly, you are being asked to trust wisely. Trust built on relationship, on past deliverance, on survival. You should not have survived on doors God closed to protect you before opening this one to promote you. Look back and remember how many times you were preserved, redirected, restrained. Those were not coincidences, they were evidence. Evidence that God knows how to guide you, how to guard you, how to grow you. That same guidance does not disappear when wealth enters the picture. It becomes even more necessary. This season will require you to carry yourself differently. Not with arrogance, but with gravity, not with pride, but with responsibility. People who are truly prepared for increase move with calm, not chaos. They do not announce every step, they measure their words. They do not rush to prove, they focus on building. They understand that visibility is a byproduct of value, not a substitute for it. Let your work speak. Let your discipline testify. Let your consistency preach. God is also refining your patience, because impatience can destroy in months what obedience built in years. Do not let excitement override wisdom. Enthusiasm is good, but it must be anchored. Anchored in planning, anchored in counsel, anchored in restraint. The door opening does not mean everything must happen at once. Growth that lasts unfolds in stages. Hano, each stage. Rushing dishonors the process that protects the promise. As wealth increases, silence will become a form of strength. Not everyone needs to know your next move. Not everyone needs access to your vision. Some people clap for beginnings, but resent outcomes. Guard what God entrusts to you. Privacy is not secrecy, it is stewardship. What you protect, you preserve. What you expose prematurely, you invite interference. There will be moments when pressure intensifies instead of easing. Do not misinterpret that as failure. Expansion creates resistance. New levels bring new challenges. The door opening does not remove warfare, it shifts it. The battles change form. Instead of scarcity, you battle distraction. Instead of lack, you battle excess. Instead of desperation, you battle complacency. Every level has its test. Stay alert. Remember that wealth does not validate you, it amplifies you. Whatever is inside will grow louder. That is why inner work must continue even as outer success increases. Stay honest with yourself. Stay accountable. Stay teachable. Pride whispers that you have arrived. Wisdom reminds you that you are always becoming. Do not forget gratitude. Gratitude anchors abundance. It keeps success from becoming entitlement. When you remember where you came from, you manage where you are with care. Gratitude turns provision into praise without words. It shapes your posture. It keeps your heart soft while your position rises. God is not finished with you when the door opens. God is beginning a new chapter of responsibility. This is not a reward for past faithfulness alone. It is an assignment for future obedience. What you do with what you receive will determine what comes next. Increase is progressive. Trust grows through demonstration. Some of you will look back one day and realize this was the moment everything shifted. Not because money appeared overnight, but because your thinking aligned, your courage activated, your discipline sharpened, and your obedience solidified. The door did not just open externally, it opened internally. You became ready. Stand firm now. Stand focused, stand humble, let fear fall away, let excuses lose their voice, let old limitations dissolve. You are not stepping into randomness, you are stepping into intention. The path ahead will require wisdom, patience, courage, and restraint, but you have been prepared more than you realize. God is opening the wealth door, and the greatest tragedy would not be failing, it would be shrinking back. Move forward with reverence. Move forward with discipline. Move forward with trust. Allow your life to become evidence that when God opens a door, those who walk through it with obedience, wisdom, and humility do not merely receive provision. They become stewards of purpose, carriers of responsibility, and living testimonies of alignment. As the door continues to open and the journey continues to unfold under the guidance and authority of God alone.